Okay, we are live on Facebook. Well, we're live on Facebook. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Dunni. Hi. Hi, it's Morna Haist here, the founder of Revolutionary Woman Global, and I'm here today for our weekly Love Seat interview where we really create the opportunity for our the amazing women in our community to be visible, to be seen and heard. And today we are joined by the amazing Dr. Dunni Atalabi. And where are you tuning in from?
Hey, Morna, it's so amazing. I am tuning in from the UK. So we've just changed time. Was it on Sunday? So we're still getting used to losing 1 hour of sleep.
Yeah, I hear you. We did that a couple of weeks ago here in North America. And yeah, the adjustment is a little bit challenging, but then I love it. I love moving into this time of year. And I want to give you a proper introduction before we get going and tell everyone that you're a life coach, a family doctor, a mum and founder of Druwa Academy. And am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, you are.
Perfect. Where you empower mums who are grieving to eliminate feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. You're passionate about holistic care and wellness, an avid reader, student, driven advocate for physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being, on a mission to give mums the practical tools and strategies that will help them create the life of abundance they deserve and desire. That is amazing work that you're doing. And I'm just going to whip over to Facebook and check that we're live. And yes, we are. That's amazing. And people are joining us. Hi, Hara. It's lovely to see you. If you're here live, then let us know that you're here. Let us know that you're tuning in and where you're tuning in from. So let's actually start by, I'm really curious because just being a family doctor alone is a big commitment and a big job. And you are literally one of the most joyful women I've ever met. The very first time I met you, I was like, okay, this lady's pretty special. Tell us about how you got into the work that you're doing, and actually, how do you stay so happy and joyful all the time?
All right. Oh my goodness. Now, well, thank you very much, Mona. That warms my heart. And actually, I'm going to tap into something my dad always says. He says, when you meet someone, you need to exude joy. You need to exude a welcoming presence. And based on that, whenever I meet people, and even in my different roles, I try to exude that joy. And I think something that also made me feel very comfortable doing that was the meaning of my name. Now, my parents usually give, it's a cultural thing. On the 7th day, you name a child. So my name is Dunni. Yeah, and the full name is Dunni, which means it's sweet to have a child. And oh my goodness, I feel so blessed to have that name because it's like I'm constantly feeling like my parents are so pleased to have me. And I'm like, yes, so it gives me so much joy within my heart. My journey into my many roles. Okay. We start with the family doctor one or the coach one?
Well, let's start with what feels. I mean, I'm curious about all of it. So
awesome. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So when I was younger, I was very into like the mechanics of things, physics and further maths, and I thought I was going to be an aeronautical engineer. That's what I thought I was going to do. But somehow I got this calling to be a doctor. I didn't know why or how, but I heeded the call and here I am. So it was more like a calling and I just felt it within myself. And so going through my, the process, being a doctor, I was working, had my children, and suddenly I get this phone call at about 4 a.m. when I was feeding my son. It was my sister calling, and she said, she didn't pick, she wasn't the one that on the phone, it was a male voice I heard. And the person was my classmate or my colleague from work. And he said, I just want to let you know, are you okay? Are you sat down? I'm like, yes, I'm fine. I'm just feeding my child at 4 a.m. So he just told me in very medical jargon style, your dad had died.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was, thank you. It came as a shock because I wasn't expecting it. But my sister was just not in a state to talk. She was crying hysterically. So he had to break the news to me. And I was just thinking, and for a long time I was numb. And I just went about doing my stuff. I fed my son, was staring at him, smiling. I couldn't believe it. And so going through that journey, then the grief really hit me. It's just, you know, with the way they talk about stages of grief, it didn't happen that way. It just came whoosh. I was angry, I was fearful, I was tired, I was scared, all at the same time. I lost 3 dress sizes. I was a right mess. I was overwhelmed all the time, and I didn't know how I was going to take care of myself and my children and work full-time as a doctor. So I started looking for help. I started looking for reading books, and you see, I love books. I'm constantly buying books. I read, you know, and I just couldn't find the answers as quickly as I wanted to. And so when I eventually found a way, I started seeing that it wasn't all about, yes, you're grieving, go meet a counselor, talk about it. It's a lot deeper than that. There's a lot more holistic care that even medicine does not teach you. There was a lot that I had to put through and put together to make this work. And oh my goodness, I started to see my life improve. My physical, emotional well-being was just blossoming. My spiritual awareness was deepening. My heart was full of joy, and people couldn't believe that, wow, you at 3 a.m. we're called you to see a patient and you're so full of energy. What's with you?
What's wrong with you?
Huh? People like, what's wrong with you? So I just was exuding. Yes, I'm still grieving my father. I miss him dearly, but the meaning was different. And so when I started doing all that, I was doing it and, you know, helping people around me, you know, friends and people that were struggling. But then one day, after much resistance, because I'm an introvert, in case you've not noticed.
I hadn't noticed. Yeah. Really?
And I tried to say, no, I'm fine. I'll just help people that come to see me in my clinic, you know. And that's where the calling came to come forth and empower more people on a global scale. And that's how Druwa Academy was born.
Okay, that's amazing. And let's pause there for a minute, because I want to reflect back on some of the stuff that I've heard. And it reminds me, we had the beautiful Alan Monsees, who led a talk for us in Transformation School a few weeks ago, and she also does grief work. And one of the things that she was talking about was that it's possible to be experiencing deep grief and joy at the same time. And that was such a revelation to me. And it really mirrored my own experience. At the end of 2019, I lost my brother and my mother in very quick succession. And also lost a lot of weight. So I relate to that one. But I can't rely on people dying to be my weight loss regime. I just make a joke about that. But you know, I'd actually begun working on that a year before it was going to happen, because I knew it was going to happen. And yeah, one of the pieces that I went through was really finding that I had to give myself permission to feel okay. Right? Can you say a little bit about that? Because I think we're not taught that. Yeah.
Yes. And that is so right, Morna. totally agree. We need to give ourselves permission, one, to feel what we're going through.
Right.
One, to know it's okay to feel that way. And then give ourselves permission to just be. We're told by many people how to grieve sometimes. And sometimes they tell you, oh, well, by 3 months, you should be done grieving. By 6 months, you should be done grieving. I mean, it's 1 year now. Come on, go find something else to do.
That's right. Yeah.
Many people just feel, okay, you're grieving. Oh, you have to be strong for the children. Oh, you have to be this. And they're all giving you what they say you should be. And unfortunately, that is what is killing and harming and destroying many people, pushing them into just the usual grief to a state of complex, complicated, debilitating grief.
Okay, let's pause on that because I really want people to hear what you're saying. I think part of it for me. So I have a mood disorder, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, since I was 10 years old, where my body literally stops producing serotonin towards when my period's coming. So I know what it feels like to experience the absolute depth of our emotions as a human being, but I also know that it's possible to feel the real depth of our emotions and move through them. And I think we're not taught to really be able to feel our feelings, that we're going to be okay. It's okay to feel them. And that enables us to move through them rather than being stuck. And I'm curious about when you talk about complicated grief, is that part of it? Not being able to move through these feelings, or can you say more about that?
Yeah, so basically when someone experiences complicated grief, it's the kind of grief that is kind of hampering. It kind of ties you in a restricted place. You don't feel you're moving through. And most of the time, maybe it's someone who experienced a loss and decided, all right, it's not important. I'm going to just shove it under the carpet. Not now. I can't deal with it. Not yet. And you shove it under, but you see that suppression is what makes things more difficult.
Right, because it's still there. It's just now you're walking on a lumpy carpet with stuff underneath. Yeah.
Exactly. And then sometimes it goes ahead to a point where people start to self-medicate. It could be with food, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, street drugs, or alcohol. And it is very difficult because they're trying to cope with it, but then it's not being done in a way that is healthy to their body, their mind, their soul, and their spirit. And because people think that it's all about, oh, I'll just get these emotions under control. It's not just the emotions.
Oh, okay. We have to pause on that word, control. The idea that our emotions are something that we're supposed to control, I think, is so problematic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. People think that I need to control my emotions. There is a particular proper way I need to behave because of societal norms, because of traditional beliefs, because of what people say we're supposed to be. But who set those standards? And that's where that permission comes in. You need to give yourself permission. The day you feel like you want to cry, by all means, do so. The day you feel, I just want my duvet, it's just me and my duvet today, by all means, if you can, do so. Because when you do that, you soothe yourself. You're just massaging your soul into a state of, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I love you.
Oh. Yeah, we all need that. We all need that. And it brings up so much for me. One of the things that I work on in the communities I lead is normalizing emotion as simply one of the languages that we're given in terms of how we express, Normalizing tears is just as normal as this, right? So that we can create spaces for our whole human experience to blossom.
Totally. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm the kind of person, when I'm happy, I cry. When I'm sad, I cry. When I'm angry, I cry. When I'm scared, I cry. As in, I'm just like waterworks. That's me. And it's like, oh, I'm so grateful. And it just comes. And I sometimes I can't help it. The only thing I try to do based on societal norms, when someone is sharing, or you can see someone suffering, because what I see, especially in my role as a doctor, and you're like, okay, how do we help navigate this? How do I empower you? Because I don't believe in you come to me and I say, all right, you got this. Here you go. Here's a script. No.
Here's your piece of paper. That's right. Yeah.
No, I don't like that. I like a situation whereby you come to me, you say, you've got, say, an infection in your foot. Yeah. It's just antibiotics, right? I could just give you that script and say, all right, then, so take it. If it gets better, blah. If it doesn't get better, come back, see me. No, I believe that as I give you that script, or I get the information that will prevent that thing from affecting you, from prevent that thing from happening again, if it's something that's happened that is likely to happen again, equip you with the knowledge and the skills to care for it, not just with taking pills, but with, oh, how would you clean it? How do you wash your hands? How do you do this? How do you do that? What can you put on it? What about if your clothes are rubbing on it? You know, all those practical things, because those are the things that make the care of the person more whole, as opposed to, here you go, take some chemicals, will make you feel better.
Exactly. It's so true. And folks are just making some comments. One of them is that you're radiant. Yes, you are radiant. And Hanya's talking about the multiple ways we have to show up depending on the environment. It's so true. And I love what you're saying. I think that there's such a difference for me. You know, I deal with medical practitioners a lot because I have two children with various pretty complex medical needs, and I encounter such a variety of approaches and people, and the power of the people that I'm working with to just the energy that people show up with in the room. You know, even if we interact in a lot of very busy hospital environments where the doctor might come in 5 minutes and leave. And I've had doctors who in those 5 minutes transform how we all feel. But that can be positive or negative depending on their energy, just simply their energy, and feeling like whether they're with you and that you're being seen as a human and that somebody cares about you. That is just as important, if not more important, than the chemical that's being handed to you, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, there's this thing that many people don't seem to realize. We are here, whereas there are billions of us in the world, on the planet, but we are more energy than we are matter. It's over 90% energy. And I know they don't take this in med school, but that energy is that force within, around, that gives us the ability to create things, to be able to feel that abundance rather than scarcity, helps us to be present. And it's when we know, when we recognize that level, the energy that we bring, we're conscious of it, then we start to see a transformation. It's all about recognizing that and actually tapping into it. We don't have enough energy work, but we do need it on a consistent basis.
Yes. And, you know, folks are saying, Victoria's saying to bring our own energy of self-healing. Yes, I just wrote into the chat, we're more energy than matter. And yes, I mean, for me, I feel like who we're being, how we show up, the energy that we create around us, that is what transforms ourselves and our relationships and our communities and our, Oh, okay. So So I would love your advice to our community. We have obviously a community of women, who are leading change on the planet, who are leading change in their families, in their communities, in their organizations, in their businesses. And sometimes we don't put ourselves on the list. You know, sometimes we forget about ourselves and look after other people, which is amazing. But the title of this talk is "Don't Run on Empty," and so I'd love for you to share what you mean by that, and what is some practical advice that you can share with the amazing women in our community.
Awesome. Oh yes. I know as moms, as women, we are constantly caring for everyone except ourselves. But I will start with what they say. Well, when we travel on an airplane, in the event that the cabin air pressure drops, some mask will dangle above your head. Put your mask first before you put on anybody else's. If you are able to care for yourself, then you will be refilled. You will be replenished to be able to take care of anybody else. And so that self-love, unfortunately, is not as celebrated as it should be. People celebrate martyrdom. Oh, I sacrificed everything for my children.
Yes.
She sacrificed everything for her husband. She sacrificed everything for her community. That is what everybody celebrates. They don't celebrate the person who is aware enough to say, I will replenish myself, that I will have the abundance to bless you all. Now, I try to let women know we have got this particular collection of superpowers.
Ooh.
Don't seem to know. And one of the main ones, which I start with, is the power of creation. Yes. We have got creation, the creative abilities within us, and we don't tap into it enough. We have the ability of being, our ability to pay attention to the different aspects helps us to care for everybody else, but we just need to tune it down inwards to ourselves. Listen to yourself. Now, people say they have no time. That's the number one excuse I hear. I don't have time. That's fine. We all know we only get 24 hours in a day. Yeah, and sometimes, like Sunday, we have 23.
Yeah. Right.
But when you have that limited time, when you have that mindset of limitation, there is that detachment from your superpower of abundance. So I'm not saying you should say, oh, God, got lots of time. No, be realistic. However, know that you have got to give yourself permission to have regular breaks. Yes, you're there with everybody, doing everything for everyone. Take a break. There is a place in any building where many people can't follow you to. It's called the bathroom. If you've got children, even if you've got children, most of the time when you say, I'm going to the bathroom, they would say, okay, mommy, I'll sit at the door. Some will actually follow you in there, but you know, there's a way you can wiggle. And I think in most houses, that's probably the only place that has got a lock, maybe a thumb lock. You need your 5 minutes in the bathroom. If that's the only place you can get that respite, you do need that time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Victoria's just saying, love the bathroom escape plan. You can do that with in-laws, with children, with partner, anyone. Leah's saying the sacred sanctuary of the bathroom. It sounds like this is a familiar place for many of the women here. And Victoria's saying it took realizing that I would rather hurt myself than let someone else down to change. Mm-hmm. It can be a challenging decision each time to choose myself and replenish my energy. It really can, Victoria. And I know for me, I actually had to go on a bit of a personal inquiry to find out how to replenish myself. What do I really need? What works for me? Because I think sometimes different things work for different people. And mine is the bath, hot bath, because that's where I learned that I could lock the bathroom door, get into the bath, and that was at least an hour for me. And also one of the other things that I've realized is that even if I'm, particularly with my teenagers, that I can take a micro break or a tiny break just before I go into their room. Just pause for a moment. How do I want to feel going in here? Get off autopilot, because so often we're just going through our day with these behaviors that become our habits. And just the simple act of, I may not be feeling great, but if I walk into my daughter's room with a smile, we're going to begin in a great way. If I walk in and point out the rubbish on the floor or the whatever, no, I think we have these moment-to-moment choices. And I really think it's interesting how as women we've been conditioned into this way of being. And we could talk so much more about that, but I'm just realizing that we're getting close to the end of our time, which is crazy because I want to talk to you all day. And I'm sure everyone here wants to listen to you all day. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in the world and what's happening in your academy and how folks can find you and find out about the work you're doing.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much for that. So basically, what I tend to do is that because of the kind of notion we have got where we put everybody else above ourselves, before ourselves, and we kind of run flat out. I'm the kind of person that love games. I love games. That's me. I think I got that from my dad. So cartoons and games, yes.
Yeah.
So because of that, I tend to run regular challenges at the academy, and of course we are virtual, so which is a good thing. So I run, it's called the Super Mom Wellbeing Challenge, and I'm running one next month. Oh well, next month starts tomorrow.
Yes, it does. Actually, it's already started. If you're in New Zealand, there's some people watching from New Zealand. It's already next month.
Oh wow, it's probably already. So yeah, so it's a 5-day challenge, and usually what I tend to do is just open to everyone. Just come in. You're a mom, super moms. That's who we are. And the definition of a super mom is not the mom that is like soccer mom, taking kids to the violin and everything and holding everything and everything is okay. But it's that mom that, in spite of going about her work, taking care of the children, taking care of everybody else, her head is above ground. That's a super mom. So that's pretty much any mom. Because we think we just have to be awesome and just crushing it on all fronts. No. People are putting expectations. No. And they're labeling someone as not a good enough mom, and that one mom is horrible and that mom is not good. No, you are a super mom. So yes, super moms unite, because this is what we do. So that's pretty much what I encourage people to do. Just challenge yourself. And it's something that we can come together, have fun, and work out ways, practical ways where we can, how do we switch ourselves from a state of overwhelm to a state of calm? How do we tap into our superpowers of creating, of being, of having, of growing, of giving, of forgiving? Because the one important thing we need to realize is that many of us suffer with guilt. And yes, guilt needs to be let go of for us to grow, for us to be, and for us to be abundant.
Yes, please let go of the guilt, everyone, or go on a journey of figuring out how to let go. We could talk for a whole other half an hour about that. And I want to say, thank you so much. I would love to invite you to put links below this video. I'll show you where to do that after we're finished. To your challenge, which which sounds like a really fun experience. And I love that. I love that. And I know that I think for anyone watching, anyone who watches the replay, just being around your energy is what we need. You know, you're an absolute ray of light and a complete joy, and you exude everything that you're talking about. And I can imagine laughing and crying and doing all of the things with you. So I really, I hope that some of the amazing women in our community join you for your work. And it's interesting because on the one hand, it sounds like a challenge, but on the other hand, it sounds like a party. So maybe there's some marketing language there, you know, call it a party for supermoms, you know. You're right.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. The last one we had, I had my cape and all. It was awesome.
You have a cape? I love it.
I had a full super mom outfit. Yes, superhero. Yes, I was. Super cape.
I really want to see a picture of that. I want to see a picture of that. We're getting a lot of beautiful responses, a lot of hearts, a lot of hugs. And Hanya said, so true, you are a hug. That is true. You're a hug. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your beauty and your joy and your amazing gifts that you are giving in the world. And gosh, I feel like I've got a little version of you sitting in my pocket, just smiling up at me, which maybe you could make some little figurines, some little Dr. Dunni, like little super mom. Yeah. I'd buy one. I want to. Thank you so much, my dear. Is there anything you want to say in closing as we close out today for the women who are watching?
Yes. I would like to share with you a very popular, probably many people know it, some people don't. The Hawaiian, it's like a prayer. And I wear it on my wrist. You see this? That is it. So it's something you need to say to yourself. It doesn't take long, few seconds. Say your name. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Those simple words, they move you from a place of fear, a place of guilt, a place of pain, to a place of absolute joy and bliss.
Can we say that again? Can you say that again for everyone, please?
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.